Afternoon greetings to wonke umuntu out there. This is the power of healing with Utabi ngowekhethelo. Iqhwalento wasahlobo inkanyezi yamakhosi komntungwa ukhanya unompilo. So guys, today we're just going to be touching base on the spirit of Amanono or Amanono. Is Amanono or Amanono, yeah, however you want to pronounce it basically. So the spirit is a spirit of a late infant that has died during the process of pregnancy. So it would be a stillborn, miscarried, aborted, or passed on within the period of 6 months before teething. So this spirit is a spirit that of a child, an infant that is a stillborn. Stillborn, we all know most the child died during delivery. So we all know what a miscarriage, where you miscarried a pregnancy, aborted or passed on within the period of 6 months. Ne? Within that period of 6 months, guys, not after 6-7 months. So it's before teething, basically. So what does the spirit need? First of all, let's start with abortion, guys. Okay, let's start with miscarriage, right? If you know that you've miscarried, you need to cleanse this spirit. You need to cleanse the spirit. You need also you basically need to cleanse the spirit and appease it in some way. So appease it, I mean, like you need to make an offering in recognition of that spirit or that child that has passed on. So with abortion, it needs to be cleansed and appeased. So you would cleanse the spirit. So when you've aborted, guys, and then you get pregnant again, you can actually miscarry that pregnancy due to the abortion. Or if you've miscarried before and you didn't cleanse, you can actually miscarry the next pregnancy and the next and the next. If you're not cleansed, usangcolile or usemnyama, so basically usazilile for this unborn child or for this stillborn or for this miscarried child. So you need to cleanse. You need to be cleansed for that, so that it does not even affect the kids that you would have already ending. The spirit needs recognition, acknowledgement, and okay. So let's start with that. It needs dignity, recognition, and respect. So you need to recognize it. So whenever you count your children, you would count it, or whenever Nancy is into, you would recognize it and pay proper respect to it as amatonga wonke. Okay. So the spirit usually, guys, would be, before you cleanse, it would be idlozi of a child that's passed on. All right. But then once it has been cleansed and proper rituals have been performed for it, then it becomes itonga lengani. So I'll get to that. So it needs dignity, recognition, and respect. So you need to give it proper dignity. So let's say it's a child that passed on, or an infant that passed on. You give it the same respect, dignity that you would give an adult. Yeah. With this spirit, guys, I'll get it. So when you do things, you need to show remorse. So if you've aborted, or if you've aborted, let's stick to that one. You need to show remorse. Awenzi nje izinto just ukuthi ufuna uqeda icala lokuthi I did wrong and now I need to cleanse because izinto zami azihambi kahle. This spirit actually needs you to be remorse of what you've done, or acknowledge the wrong that you have done. Guyo, okay. And then also so I think I spoke about abalozi, and I spoke about the link between abalozi and amanono. So why is there a link between abalozi and amanono? Abalozi is a spirit of birds. It's a twittering spirit, a spirit that comes with sound, and usually with birds singing and tweeting and chanting and all of that. So with a spirit of amanono, ingane, so the laughter of a child, the cry of a child, the playing of a child resonates or links together with abalozi because of the sounds. Okay. And yeah, the sounds, and if you've heard a child cry, sometimes it's sort of like singing. So that is why it resonates with that spirit, because both of them are very fragile and innocent as well. So with us water spirit children, or people who possess water spirits, guys, if you have aborted I'm sorry about that, if you've aborted or you've miscarried, you definitely need to be cleansed, because you have wronged the spirit. And especially, I know with inkosazana, it is very it's very like sensitive when it comes to abortion of abantwana. So hence I said, inkosazana, if you've done wrong by it, it will torment you. So yeah, with the spirit of amanono, you basically need to cleanse it, and you need to appease the goddess of fertility, because remember, a child is given to us by the goddess of fertility, or Isitunwa zabantwana. So a spirit of amanona, neitunywa zabantwana, those are two separate things. And maybe if I do have time, I will touch on Isitunwa just now in this video as well. So yeah, so this spirit is very fragile and innocent, so as the spirit of abalozi, which is the animals or the birds. With offering and uphahla for the spirit, guys, if you're going to do an offering for a spirit of amanono, it's actually different to a child that's grown. It's different to an adult, and that is one that needs to be handled with care, because that spirit is very, very, very sensitive to a lot of things. As sensitive as it is, it also becomes jealous. Ne? So if we're going to do offering nokuphahla kwakhona, it has to represent an infant or a child. Okay, an infant in most cases, it has to suit a spirit of an infant, or it has to be in line with the spirit of an infant. So it's not the same that you would just do as anyhow, like a spirit of an adult. Now I want us to look at why the spirit would actually be dangerous and would cause misfortune to a person. So in most cases, the spirit will usually cause a misfortune, because so if that child, like let's say you aborted, miscarried, or it was a stillborn, and the infant was chosen. So a person comes from two families. So the infant was chosen by one of the chief spirit between these two families. So if this child was chosen by a chief spirit within these two families, a chief ancestral spirit, it will cause misfortune, because the chief spirit will actually give it power and strength to follow you about. So it will it will have that strength of because this is a child of a calling. So it will possess the same power as it would have if it was alive, and torment you. Not necessarily, yeah, I think most of the time it just makes your life miserable. So you will be miserable because this child is crying for izinto zakhe to continue, or the calling, because the calling was its purpose of living. So you have cut short the purpose itself. So this child will actually cry for that. If it was chosen by a nature spirit, like a water spirit, a wind spirit, a fire spirit, or it was chosen by the goddess of water, or it was chosen by the mountain spirit, basically it's still going to torment you and make your life miserable, and actually mess up your life, because this was I think same with the chief spirit. It was a child that had a calling and had a gift. So also, if you as a parent have a calling and you decide to abort or you miscarry, okay, let's do abort. If you decide to abort, then the spirit that governs you, the spirits that governs you and guides you, will actually make your life miserable, and you will have misfortune or bad luck, because you haven't cleansed the deed that you've done, and you haven't appeased it to say, okay, this is a mistake that I've done, unknowingly, that I had a calling. So you need to appease it. You need to appease it. You need also to cleanse. So if you're going to have to cleanse, guys, you're going to have to cleanse. Uzo spend imali, guys, and with a calling, if you as a parent had a calling, it's even more difficult, because you are going to spend money, ulibo hamba uhlola, and izinto zingahlangani. Even noma you are done with your initiation, you are done, izinto zingahambi kahle, because you haven't appeased, you haven't actually went and apologized to the spirits that are governing you about the wrong deed, or you actually haven't cleansed them as well, because they also need you to cleanse them for the deed that you've done before you actually cleanse the deed that you've done. So you need to also cleanse them and acknowledge to them that I have done wrong, and I accept my mistake as your child, so I need this to be fixed. So guys, you are going to spend money, because those rituals are basically, the cleansing rituals are separated into two. You can't say I'm cleansing Amanono, the spirit of Amanono, and at the same time I'm the same period, or the same time cleansing the water spirits. There is a way in which this thing is done, and even with any cleansing, if you're going to cleanse for a reason, if you're going to cleanse bad lucks and misfortunes, guys, it starts, you have to do them separate. So you can't do one cleansing at once and say I'm doing it for yonkinto. Agna package deal, right? So also, why would it cause misfortune and misery? If the spirit of that child, or the spirit of that infant, was already a reincarnation of another soul or another spirit. So if the soul was reincarnated into this being that you've actually terminated, so it becomes a problem, because now it's actually now you've killed a soul that actually needed to come back and sort out karmic ties that is holding it back in this world. So that is why you would find that the spirit now fights with you and torments you and needs you to cleanse it. Sorry about that. Okay. So if that spirit in itself, the spirit of that infant or spirit, had a calling, or a very strong calling, you are in trouble, because that spirit can do anything in your life. Can even take away a child. It can cause misery, misfortune, cause divorce, cause to have a relationship. So if it was very strong in spirit, or a strong spirited an infant, or a strong spiritual, it had a strong spiritual calling, you said you are in trouble. So you basically need to appease the chief, the spiritual guides that were actually governing that infant. So guys, there's a lot of implications when these things are done. There's a lot of implications when you have an abortion. And I'm not here to judge. We've got many reasons that we do things, guys, and I'm not God. I don't play God in any way. But I would like to say this. There's a lot of implication that comes with that. It's even better when it's a miscarriage or a stillborn, because you had no control of it. It was mainly caused by hormone imbalance, or the trauma of the body, or a lot of medical reasons that occurred. But with now a choice of you terminating, it becomes a different story. It also becomes very sort of like wild. Let's use wild if it's not acknowledged all the time. Because remember, regardless of the fact that you've aborted, or you've terminated, or you miscarried, or you had a stillborn, it's still part of you. So it is also counted, because it grows with you. The spirit actually grows with you. So as you grow now, and now it grows into like years and years and years. So when you add a year into your life, you add a year into it as well. So it needs basically to always be acknowledged that it was part of your life. And as it grows, it now no longer becomes a child, guys. So sometimes you would dream that you have intombazane that's forever following you. Like you dream of this girl, but you don't understand who this girl is. Sometimes it could be that it's telling you that I've grown as much as you've grown, because even with us, as we sense it, then you would realize that this is a spirit of a child that was aborted, miscarried, or is stillborn. So the spirit, guys, can actually affect other kids. Can affect other kids' life due to jealousy. So it can affect other kids' life, your other kids' life, due to jealousy, because it becomes very jealous. The spirit of Amanono is very jealous, guys. So it is very jealous, or the spirit of Inono is very jealous. So that's why we need to cleanse, we need to appease it, and we need to recognize and acknowledge it as well. How does the spirit become a gift to someone like me? So basically, because Utabi has never miscarried, had a stillborn, has never terminated, and has never had an infant that passed on. So how does it then become a gift? Because we're saying this is a spirit. So Utabi is a medium, guys, and as a medium and a shaman, I deal with the different spirits all the time, which includes a spirit of a child. Because hence I've said, if the child is strong in spirit, the spirit or the infant will actually come through just to give you a message, or just to have that conversation with you, and try to sort things out, and try to make you understand that it needs you to acknowledge, it needs you to communicate with it some of the things, because we tend to think it as a child, so it stays as a child. Hence I've mentioned it grows with you. So it doesn't stay as a child forever, it grows with you. So yeah, how does it become a gift to a healer also, guys? So as I've mentioned, with me as a medium, basically it is a gift because I deal with different spirits, and also with now being a child, or with being one that that possesses water spirit, a water spirit, which is now the goddess of fertility. So I actually was given this, so I can maybe guide and mentor people on how to appease it, and also how to actually perform rituals of offerings and what do is apologetic, if I should say that, rituals. So siyakwazi ukuyiqolisa, and we try to make like try and make peace, or try to beg the spirit to make peace with whatever that happened. So that is why Utabi would find her actually have this gift. So also Utabi could actually have it as a gift of healing. So I heal it, guys. I heal it, because I need to say, as people, as healers, we are not healing the physical, but we also healing the spiritual as well. So when you find your healing in the physical realm, then we also find, then the spirits also find a peace and healing in the spiritual realm. So it goes hand in hand, guys. Niga. So yeah, so I work with Uma. Uma is a goddess of fertility. Inzuza is a goddess of fertility, and Inzuza is very much in connection with umtwana and loves kids. So that is why we would have a gift. And also, if sometimes as a healer you did not pass through all these experiences, but somebody else in the family has passed through all of them, or miscarried and everybody, so that basically makes you you would have that spirit, because you still have to appease it, and you still have ukuthi uyenzele ama rituals on the person's behalf, because I need to say we blood relations, guys. So sometimes it's nezinto and we are given things because of blood relations. And then let me see what have I missed. So as I've mentioned, I give it dignity and I give it healing most of the time, and recognition as well. So I would tell you that you need to recognize it. So even when you pasha, you recognize it. Go say I know, and you apologize, guys. Let us acknowledge our wrongs, that we've actually done wrong, and we've done wrong with people's lives or souls or spirits. We need to acknowledge that. It is very important that we acknowledge that. So yeah, as I've mentioned, guys, you really need to cleanse, and you cannot you cannot just do like, you need to handle it with care, because this is a very innocent and very purified spirit. Okay, however, the way it passed on from this earth there's different ways in which it passed on, or it left this world. Do you understand? Sometimes it wasn't even given a chance. So we need to be honest with these things and tell you the right things, so that as brush it up just to make money. You need to know that the spirit will forever be with you. However, once it has been cleansed and things are done right, then it becomes itong. Okay, then it can actually be able to help you out or help your kids. Sometimes it's not even a chief spirit that is in connection with you, but your kids as well. So you really need to work on that. Then I want to go to Isitunwa saying just a quickie there. As I've mentioned, and I think I did a video about this to Isitunwa saying when I did a video about beads and necklaces. I did mention that Isitunwa saying is very fragile, and So when does now ingane have Isitunwa? When does a child would have Isitunwa, guys? It is now between the ages of 1 and 12. Okay, ingane, the kids, all children are governed by this Isitunwa sengane, guys. And now with Isitunwa sengane, you would get that people who have Isitunwa sengane are the people that we call, that have a gift of prophecy or a prophetic gift. So they work in most of the time, and these were the grannies that would abalapi beingane would have a gift of being able to heal ingane ishashaza. Ishashaza is something that grows inside your throat. It's sort of like, which makes a child very dehydrated. Sometimes the child abengathi, nauseous, and sometimes to get the child is vomiting, doesn't want to eat. So Labo Gogo would know how to treat lelo shashaza. We called it ishashaza mankula. They would know how to treat lelo shashaza there, because in most cases, guys, we tend to take the kids to the doctors. You can see ingani pelelo amandla, and you can see that this child is dehydrated, but then they don't know, they can't detect exactly what's going on, and this because of ishashaza. It grows inside. It's sort of like something that it would have blood on it. So when those grannies, there is something that they do. I won't share it with you. You can't use it. But if the grannies would know, usually they would use sugar and a bandage, and they would clean it out, and then it comes out. As soon as it comes out, as soon as it comes out, then the child would vomit, and after vomiting, the child is fine. So not everything is, you actually need to go to our doctor. Sometimes there is grannies who know how to do this. They also do what we call ibala. So they clean ibala. So when you've got a child and a newborn, they have ibala, ne? So labo gogo laba who have Isitunwa sengane would actually be able to clean ibala lelo, or they would able to treat it, and it's healers, because these healers know which herbs to use in order for this ibala to pume. So it would be like ilento, a running stomach, puma, like a running stomach. So also with ibala, not everybody has it. So some, they don't have the same gift. Sometimes ibala, or utreat ibala, sometimes doesn't know how to do this other one. And also I don't even know what I wrote here, but anyway, yeah. So they would like, no, and spade, guys, those grannies would actually know how to treat ubetingane. So the special herbs that are used for ibala, they're okay. I wanted to say this. Ibala, usually sometimes we treat it with umuti enyoni. That's the whole point of umuti wenyoni, so that the child would be able to, the number 3 is usually comes as green and sort of like imba, the roots. That is ibala coming out. Yeah. So this Isitunwa sengane, guys, governs the child from hence I've mentioned 1 until puberty. Then from puberty, then it's no longer ilendingane, because sometimes these kids they do wrong. So this spirit, as I've mentioned, this Isitunwa, as I've mentioned, is gentle and caring. So when ingane does something like so I think that is why it governs ingane Isitunwa, let's say, for until 12, because now after 13 they start doing their own things, which now becomes offensive to the Isitunwa itself, guys. So basically Isitunwa, it governs children. So Isitunwa, as we know what Isitunwa is, we've taught you guys. I've taught you about Idols, I've taught you about Itonga, so you know the difference now. You should know the difference by now. someone who possesses this Isitunwa, someone who possesses Isitunwa Seingane would actually adore kids. They adore kids. They are forever playing with kids. I've heard somebody saying, with a spirit of Amanono, those people, they are childish. I am not really sure about that, because I just know that they love kids, but I'm not sure about being childish and doing things that doesn't make sense. I'm not sure about that. I don't know from which experience they took that, so I'm talking from my own experience and what I've dealt with. And then Isitunwa Seingane, guys, also you would have it, which deals with I deal with a lot of pregnant women, hence I've posted the gifts that we do get in appreciation to Isitunwa Seingane or Gogo Laba, or the goddess of fertility, for that gift. So I work with pregnant women. What do I mean by that? You know, wabasidila, yabaraba. So that is what the Isitunwa does as well. It's a gift as well. You do not get touched with Ingane when you have Isitunwa Seingane. You are forever empathetic or sympathetic to Ingane. You are not harsh to them, because you do not want to offend Isitunwa Sabo. Kids will find comfort in you always. They find comfort and healing you. Sometimes you don't even have to do anything to them. By you talking to them and touch and you know, spending time with them, they find healing. Sometimes by you just acknowledging that uwile, or they fell, or like they're in pain, that heals them instantly. Interact with children. Most of the time you'll find yourself interacting with children. Most of the time I actually do it. Sometimes it's Saturdays, sometimes it's Fridays. So you'd find yourself playing games, and it does not mean that you are not aware of the age of you are, but it requires you to be one, to interact with Ingane and to connect to Ingane, to understand them better, so then you are able to heal them and know the different ways of dealing with Ingane. So as a medium also, I cannot say and I did mention this before, is that I do not treat a consultation with a child is actually different from a consultation with a parent, because you have to treat them in their own level. You are forever in touch with your inner child. You are forever connected to your inner child. Your inner child, as you interact with Ingane, your inner child comes through. So guys, there's a different, and I think as you can see, this is bit of Amanono, guys. It's either they're like this. This is the spirit of Amanono, by the way. It's either they are like this, and it's either they are white. Okay, and then with Isitunwa Seingane, the beads are either white or blue and white. There are two different things. With this one, there is an infant part of it. So yeah, with this one, guna, this bead that you put in, that represent an infant. And with a reincarnation as well, the bead that is for an infant does come true if the child is reincarnated. Yeah, so basically that's it, because both of them, they work with goddess of fertility, guys. So Isitunwa Seingane being separate, and spirit of Amanono being separate, because this is until 6 months and this is from 1 year. So there is some sort of link when you are healer and you are dealing with these two, but they are not the same. They do not represent the same age of a child, or yeah. So this is from toddler to I think child, and this is from this is stillborn, miscarried to an infant, which is few months of being an infant. So I hope I've explained it, guys. If you have questions, you will ask questions. But thank you so much for joining me once again. Please subscribe to my channel. And I hope that you do understand, guys, so and you ask questions, because a lot of people are going through a lot of things and they don't understand that the spirit of Amanono, guys, is one that will make you miserable. And you cannot keep it a secret and say, I do not want to open that wound, because when you want to healing, you want healing, we have to open that wound. And I hope that I've actually represented it better, and I've tried to explain it better for you guys. Thank you so much.